Hey everyone, it's Coach Christine and welcome to this week's edition of Christine's Kitchen. Happy May. I can't believe we have gotten to the 5th month of the year already. Time flies, this is crazy. We are going to have some fun today. I am sort of in that bridge of still wanting comfort food, but also wanting to really scale it back and eat healthier. So today's recipe is going to be that perfect combination of both. We're going to be making a vegetarian lasagna. Now, don't run yet. We're doing it with the zucchini base for the noodle so that it's really low carb, cuts on the calories, but we're still gonna load it with all of the cheese and the meats and the happiness and the goodies. So with that in mind, we will get started. You're gonna need two things. First and foremost, most importantly, my hat's going everywhere. You need an apron because lasagna, after all, is a little bit labor intensive and it can be kind of messy. So grab your aprons just so that your clothes stay nice and clean. I've got my Kentucky Derby dress on because today is also Derby weekend. So if you are one of our 3 followers from Louisville, we are here to support you. We love the Kentucky Derby. Churchill Downs is amazing. I got to actually visit there a couple of years ago. It was the weekend after the Derby. I'd never been to a horse race before. And even though I'm not a huge horse race follower, going to Churchill Downs is iconic. So if you've never had the experience, you could still create your own at home. You need to have 3 things. 1, and most importantly, a very fabulous, fantastic hat. So once you have your hat ready for the Derby, you can create a mint julep, have your cocktail in hand, and then turn on a horse race on TV and make a bet and cheer and jump up and down the top of your lungs. Also great exercise if you're jumping up and down and getting all of that energy out. So today we're going to have a little bit of fun in our Derby outfits and cook up this really totally not related to the Kentucky Derby comfort food meal. All right, you guys, you're going to need just a handful of ingredients, and as we use them, basically we're going to, pesto aside, use the entire container of everything. So I will put the recipe at the end, but this is simple, it's easy, just needs a few steps to get it ready to rock and roll. First and foremost, we're going to do zucchini for the base, like I said. So what we've done here is pre-sliced all of our zucchini so that it looks like this. It's just nice thin layers. You're going to put it into the oven at 400 degrees for about a half hour. To keep calories down so it doesn't have so many oils in it, we want to be sure to just spray it with a little Pam. You can season it with salt and pepper. I've added a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes as well as Italian seasoning, just so that that flavor bakes into the base for my noodles. So we're going to put that in for 30 minutes. We've already gotten this started, so the finished product will come out looking like this. And the reason that you want to bake them in advance is it's going to remove some of the moisture. When you pull out your pan of lasagna out of the oven, the last thing that you want it to have is water going everywhere. That's why you want to pre-bake those noodles. So put that in. You can even do that in advance and then just keep them in an airtight container in the refrigerator with parchment paper in between the layers until you're ready to use it, and that will make assembling this super fast and easy. All right, we're gonna get the ingredients ready for the filling. Stick with me. So let's work on the meat filling first. So you have a few different options here. Most of you know at this point that I am plant-based, so I'm going to be using a plant-based meat. The equivalent is going to be taking about a pound of your lean ground beef or extra lean ground turkey. I like to do the plant-based meat crumbles just because they are really so much lower in calories. You still have 18 grams of protein per serving that's in here. You get a little bit of fiber with it, and it's incredibly low in fat. So really a great option where you're not going to be compromising any of the flavor. Doing an extra lean, like a 90-10 or a 93-7 on your meat, or an extra lean ground turkey will also give you a lot of those same health benefits. So pick which meat variation you want. You're going to put this into a non-stick skillet over a medium heat. We're going to add a clove of garlic to this. And then in addition to that, I want to make this so that it has some Italian seasoning. Now you can either take just 2 tablespoons probably of Italian seasoning. I am going simple and easy. I grabbed a marinade from the store. This one is garlic, herb, and wine. Sounds great. How could you go wrong with it? So we're just going to take the seasoning pack and pour this in. We'll stir everything together and cook this on the stovetop over a medium heat. So this is what it's going to look like to start. I'm going to go ahead and get this on the stove, and we will check in on that in just a moment. From there, we need to work on our cheesy filling. So for someone who's plant-based, I don't traditionally do regular cheese. Now, lasagna has ricotta in it, which is delicious. I know, I have not always been vegetarian. So there are some great simple swaps that you can use here. To create our cheesy, delicious filling that is going to layer in with everything, we're going to be basically taking a container of firm tofu. So we're going to put that into our blender. If we can get it out of the container, we'll put it into the blender. There we go. We're going to combine into that a small container of vegan cream cheese. So this is going to keep it completely plant-based. Now, if you have any kind of soy allergy, you'll have soy-based products within here. So stay away from this. There are non-soy based that are plant-based for options for you. So just read the labels at the store. If you don't have any issues with dairy, then you could skip this step altogether and you'll get just a regular 16-ounce container of ricotta cheese. So we'll get that into the blender. Now we want to make sure that it has just the right amount of flavor to it. So we're going to take a tablespoon here of pesto. So we'll add that measured tablespoon in, and pesto is one of those things that, although amazingly delicious, you need to measure out. It is incredibly calorically dense. So we're just using 1 tablespoon here. And to paint you a picture, a quarter cup, so about 4 tablespoons, comes out to 230 calories. So we're gonna get all of the flavor and the benefits of having the pesto in here without loading up on the additional fats and calories. So pay attention to your measurements on this. Once you get that in, you're just gonna go ahead and blend it until it's smooth and creamy, and then we'll go check back on the meat and see how that's going. The fun part has arrived. It's time to assemble. So first thing you wanna do is grab your glass baking dish. I'm using like a 9x9 here for size-wise. This recipe is going to feed 6. So if you want to, feed an army, you can do a much larger pan. You'll just need a few more zucchini and double up on the rest of the ingredients. If you're a family of 4, this is gonna feed you, like I said, this dish will cut into 6 pieces. So the first thing you wanna do, obviously, is make sure that it's sprayed. You don't want anything to stick. We are taking our pasta sauce and just putting a little bit into the base of this to have for the bottom of the pan. This is just gonna allow the zucchini to have a little bit of that sauce flavor on both sides as we get started. Now what you wanna do is start to layer the zucchini in just like you would do for regular pasta noodles. If you don't wanna be low carb, by all means, use your regular noodles. Either way, it's going to bake at about 350 to 375 depending on your oven, and you wanna cook this for 35 minutes. If you are doing it with the noodles that are just ready bake ones, you're gonna wanna keep that oven a little hotter. It'll be about 375, and you wanna cook them longer to about 45 minutes, just so that it can absorb all of the moisture from the meat in your sauce, and you don't have weird crunchy noodles. We shouldn't have that problem though, since we're using zucchini for our base. So you're gonna take this, we'll do our first layer to get it started. And if you've cut a couple a little bit thicker, the thicker ones are always good to go onto the bottom. It'll give your zucchini noodles a little more structure. So here you go, that's layer 1. Now comes the fun. We need to add the layer of our ricotta cheese. So this is gonna be our tofu pesto cream cheese mix. So we're just gonna take this, and you can see as it comes out, it's very similar to that of a ricotta texture. So it's nice and thick, full of lots of flavor, and it's got just some great Italian herbs seasoning into this. So we do the layer here. Just go ahead and make sure that gets filled. And then, but wait, there's more. So I said that we were gonna do the vegetables into it. So we're adding steamed spinach. I took 4 cups of chopped spinach, and we've steamed that already, just to make it get a little bit of that moisture out again. You don't want to have super wet lasagnas coming out. But we'll add in the lasagna here. So our dish will be meat and spinach and zucchini for the base. And then of course you're going to have the fresh tomatoes that are in the pasta sauce. So we'll make the layer of the spinach here near the base. then to that, we want to go ahead and add the first layer of meat. So once it's all cooked, it's going to be perfectly browned, nice and steamy, and we're just going to take this and pour part of this right into the pan, into our dish, and even out that meaty layer. You with me so far? It's looking pretty good. Now that you have a layer of your cheese, of that really yummy ricotta, a layer of fresh chopped spinach, a layer of amazingly Italian seasoned meat, then you get to add your mozzarella. Again, I'm using a plant-based mozzarella. When you're looking at calories, pretty much they're the same. A quarter cup of this versus a quarter cup of regular mozzarella, both come in around 80 calories for a quarter cup. And both are incredibly low in fat for the types of cheeses they are. So pick whichever variation works for you in your diet. You're gonna add a layer into it right here, sprinkling that cheese along the top. I will tell you, not all plant-based cheeses are created equally. Find which one you like and works for you and go from there. This particular diet one tends to melt pretty well. So if we're doing it with a dish like lasagna, I'm good with it. I like it. All right, ready for the next layer. So you're gonna go ahead and take this and continue to build on just like so. And we'll continue to do layer after layer just like this until we have our finished product. It's time for the final step. So if you've layered everything, look at how ginormous this is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I might have been a little overzealous on how much I put into this pan, and I might just recommend using a slightly longer and maybe deeper dish, because this is gonna really just go in the oven. It's gonna be amazing though. So if you are like me and your pan is very full and you don't wanna make a disaster of your oven, just put it on a foil-lined baking sheet and you will be good to go. Now, once you have all of the layers, you have the zucchini on the top. We're gonna take just a tad more sauce and put it on the top layer here. And then we are going to finish it by layering all of the rest of our mozzarella cheese. At the end of the day, you will have used approximately a half of a jar of your pasta sauce, and all of the other ingredients should be used completely. So it's not over the top with sugar. Honestly, this recipe, get this, for lasagna, will come in at only 400 calories per serving and around 25 grams of protein. It's really, really healthy for you. I promise I will put all of the nutrition facts and details at the end of the credits with the recipe, just so you have it if you are looking to count any of those calories, or just looking for a simple swap. Try your lasagna with the zucchini base. It is a game changer, so, so good. And a great way to save on carbs and calories if you are looking to have a simple swap that way. Now we're gonna take the rest of the cheese, moment of truth, just pour it onto the top. You will be using a little under 2 cups of mozzarella cheese in its entirety for this recipe. So I did about 1 cup in between the 2 layers that I did. I'm doing the additional cup of cheese right on the top here. You can sprinkle a little bit of Italian seasoning, or maybe a little bit of crushed red pepper or some cracked black pepper just to solidify it. I'm gonna actually take a few fresh basil leaves and garnish the top, and we will get this beautiful masterpiece into the oven and let this bake for about 35 minutes at 375 degrees. Once it comes out of the oven, you're still gonna wanna let it just sit for maybe 5 minutes so that it can cool and kind of reform back together, or it will be a hot mess when you try to serve it up. But trust me, totally worth it, even if it looks terrible on the plate. If it goes, it's gonna taste delicious. So if you don't want it to just fall everywhere, let it sit for 5 minutes when you take it out of the oven, and you will be so happy that you did. This is what your finished product looks like before it goes in. We will check back in about 35 minutes and see the finished piece. It's been 35 minutes. I've gotten it out of the oven. We are gonna let it sit for just a few minutes here, but take a look at the finished product. Oh my goodness, I am so excited to eat this for dinner. It's like, yay! All right, you guys, that is all. I am gonna cut this into the 6 pieces, and there's only 2 of us in the house, so go us. So we have amazing leftovers for lunches for later in the week that's portioned out, low calorie, and absolutely delicious. If you are a Kentucky Derby fan, like I said at the beginning here, only 400 calories per serving of this. So it saves you a little extra if you are going to have your mint julep. Maybe you have it a little bit more guilt-free today. Otherwise, we will continue to bring you more healthy recipes as the weeks continue. Thank you so much for watching today. From my kitchen to yours, happy May, have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week.